First comment comes from Adrian Corey, and they say, at 729, you say history cannot be certified. Then, would it, the alphabet words we educated people are stewards of, would it, the alphabet words we educated people are stewards of, come from history? Yes. Actually, it's were you there? Were you there? English must not be their first language, because that would be W-E-R-E. Would be were you there? I'm guessing is what they're trying to say. When grammar, and then they put in parentheses, grimoire became an image of the 1400s, according to Eddie Online in folks' brains. No, I was not. I was not there when that happened, if that happened then. So I get what this person is trying to say. And by the way, I'm going to show you in the next comment from this same individual one of the many most common types of commenters that I will get on this channel, which I would term the skeptical critic, who has really no interest in learning the grammar itself, but only has an interest in challenging me. And I'm fine with that. But I just wanted to point that out. So what they're saying is, and I've had people say this to me before, how can you say, if you're using English words to convey correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, and those things come from fiction, babble, history, well then how can you possibly use that? And how can you possibly certify those as facts, and so on and so forth? And my first kuleana to that is, what's your alternative? Do you have something better that everyone can learn or everyone has access to that they can immediately use? Do you have that? Have you created a system that is completely foolproof with no errors, no modifications? Everybody can completely cognize it and comprehend it. Have you done that? Because if not, then you got to kind of work with what you have. And you can produce guidelines such as the guidelines inherent in quantum grammar, in correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, to basically what you would say is police or direct these words using the fiction rules, the original fiction rules, the most common things, i.e. that work in grammar, make sense, that everyone can look up, everyone can certify, so that there's a baseline, and establish that, and then from there create a structure, which is what correct sentence structure is. And then you, as authority of your own construct, would then certify, authorize, verify, confirm what words you use as facts. Now, it's probably prudent and beneficial, and for the ease of the communication, just common sense, to try and come up with meanings and mechanics that everyone can easily access and everyone can easily contract with. I mean, sure, you can come up with your own whole language, grammar, whatever you want. But the issue comes is when you want to contract with other people, are they going to comprehend you, and are they going to care enough to learn what you have to offer them? So basically, in a nutshell, Adrian Corey, you got to work with what you have, and you got to find ways to certify it with a continuance of the evidence using the systems that we have. If you would come up with your own system, would it have enough credibility as the one from the 1400s? No, probably not. It hasn't been around as long, has it? It hasn't been even around for 24 hours if you started creating it right now. So you got to weigh these things. So it's basically common sense, Adrian Corey. You got to follow the tape the whole way through. Just don't listen to the first 5 minutes. Listen to the whole 45 minutes, or 40 minutes like albums used to be. Listen to it the whole way through. Okay? Before you start yapping. All right, let's move on to Adrian Corey's next comment. So they say, "Hi Jason, in the first two videos of your tangible or void tangible words section, you credentialed is as non-tangible adverb." And then I say, "Those videos are from 2021. Before I gain closure on is as a tangible contract. Good eye." I mean, yeah, kudos. Kudos. See, this is the type of individual that they are. They're sort of a person that is trying to look for errors, trying to look for any little thing that's wrong and draw attention to it without having any volition towards learning the grammar, which none that I can see anyways. So what they're talking about is, as in my learning process, which I have decided to leave on YouTube for the public to see, so that they can see me stopping and correcting along the lines with all humility, they can see me learning and sharing what I've learned and certifying what I've learned as a solid foundation to what I have now. And is, just like the word the or something like that, I used to always think was non-tangible contract until I did the work and the research and dug a little deeper and found that is actually tangible contract. I mean, what's more tangible contract than the verb of thinking? Because without it, what are you going to do? How are you going to do anything without thinking consciously? So anyways, there are several videos on my channel detailing my journey and at which point that I actually started syntaxing is as tangible contract rather than non-tangible contract. And I think that was around 2022, 2023, somewhere around there. I'm not going to go back and, and look it up. It's up to you, the viewer, to do that. This channel is up for posterity. It's the way I want it. And you do have to put some work in if you want to learn this 100% correct and all that stuff. I have not left things up for any other reason than I want to show people that I'm human, that I have humility. I made mistakes. Hell, there's still videos up on this channel where I don't capitalize the first letter of Matthew. And again, I've done videos and public notices and public announcements saying at which point I corrected that and the reasons why I leave these other videos up. So, my suggestion to you, Adrian Corey, although I don't think you need it because I don't think you have any volition to learn this grammar, you're just here to criticize, critique, and challenge me. But if you actually were interested in learning this, I would stick to the more recent videos in the last 2 or 3 years. A few days ago, I posted this in my community section where I said, "It never ceases to amaze me that folks will email me without ending the email with their full correct name, even though I mention it ad nauseum throughout my videos and descriptions of my videos. Basic written etiquette includes this mechanic, although I am becoming aware that most people have not been taught basic written etiquette. Folks, I receive many emails. I prefer not to go hunting through the search bar looking to find out who you are. Matter of fact, if you don't want to communicate with me, don't include your full correct name. If you assume that I know who you are, even though you aren't in my close circle or family or even an acquaintance, that is a critical error on your part, and it's not my responsibility to correct you. It's literally a part of my terms and conditions of any email communication. Now, that is me commenting on folks who have emailed me half a dozen times, will email me, will go silent for months, and then all of a sudden email me, and then kind of expect me to know who they are. They don't include their name at the bottom of their email, which is basic written etiquette. If you've emailed me before, I know who you are, you know who I am. Just put your name there. Take authority over your words. Why it is so hard about that? I mean, that's a rhetorical question. But that is basic written etiquette. And folks will just, I don't know, it's just such a casual environment these days that folks just don't feel like they don't need to do that. Well, I'm at a point in my life now, folks, where I mean, if you don't want to follow my terms and conditions, then I don't need to talk to you. It's that simple. It's no sweat off my brow if I don't talk to you. For real. Because I only want to speak to those who are serious about learning this, who are serious about honoring terms and conditions, who are not trying to impose their terms and conditions upon me, because that's not how this works. If you are coming to me, then you have to abide by my terms and conditions. If I was coming to you for something, like if I wanted to learn correct sentence structure from you, I would abide by your terms and conditions. If you told me that I had to, I don't know, say Candyman 3 times before I talk to you. If I wanted to learn correct sentence structure, I'd say Candyman 3 times before talking to you. Do you see what I'm saying? So then our old buddy, Don John Swaggart, says, but, dear Jason Matthew, semicolon, quote, for the people's compliancy of that mandate is not with the common volition of the people, with the be called by the name the one Met uses to introduce himself, custom by the people, supplication, volition. I have no idea what the F that guy just said. But let's continue on to see if they elucidate us. Also of note is an apparent dual nature in your contacting style, by which I mean, first, your assistance. Uh-oh. I smell Russell J. Gould, but okay. First, your assistance with the beautiful, plain, equal level field performance volition, but then demand only what is universally known as unilateral type adhesion contract with the take it or leave it performance requirement set. Okay. As I said in my Kuliana to Don John Swaggart, right off the bat, Rule 1 rule equal is off the table if you know who I am, you know my full correct name, you know what I look like, and you choose to communicate with me, and I don't know what you look like, and I don't know your full correct name, Rule 1 rule equal is off the table, because you have not participated with a geometric level playing field of contract communication. If you have not shared your full correct name in your first communication with me, then you have made it unfair, unlevel. You are seeking an advantage. Now, whether that's by volition or by ignorance or stupidity or subterfuge or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The fact is, you know who I am. You know my name, my full correct name. You know what I look like. But I don't know nothing about you. So at that point, Rule 1 rule equal is off the table. So you can't even go into this now, what they're saying. There is no dichotomy here, because that beautiful plane has not been established by the person who has chosen to communicate with me. So let's go. This is directly opposing the equality of the playing field, is it not? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I just explained to you why. I just explained to you why, Donny boy. I'm not truly asking. So if you're not truly asking, and I see a question mark here, then what is going on here? Is Don John Swaggart participating in subterfuge? Must one only become supplicant to your custom? Yes. If you want to contract with me, right off the bat, first things first, you coming to me, coming into my domain, coming into my house, yes, you must supplicate yourself to my customs. Just like if I was coming to your house because I wanted to learn something from you, I would take if you said take your shoes off at the door, I would take my shoes off at the door. If you said, hey, you can't shit in a corner, I won't shit in a corner. I won't do it. I won't. If you said take your hat off, I will take my hat off. If you say take your pants off, I'll say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, yo, I'm sorry. I'm not coming in your house. I'm not going to contract with you. Do you see what I'm saying, Don John, here? I hope you do. Even comprehending your mastery of the grammar, perhaps others may have enveloped some mastery of their own in other matters that would cause that one to be elevated to the status of a peer and not simply subordinate, which is the position of the one accepting any adhesion contract. I see what they're saying here, but that is not relevant or pertinent to this situation. If an individual is approaching me to learn correct sentence structure, that's the only thing that matters in the context of that moment. Because I make it quite clear that is the purpose of the jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com email for correct sentence structure questions or applying for workshops. There is no other purpose for that email. By my own volition and command as commander of that email vessel, port. Now, whatever Don John wants to project upon that is, of course, up to them. If they don't want to contract or abide by my rules, they don't have to send me an email. If they want to send me an email and impose their terms and conditions upon me, they're going to be jettisoned. It's that simple. I don't know. That is a genuine puzzlement to me, how people don't understand, comprehend, cognize, have closure on how contract works. But I do remember I was once a beginner back in 2017, and wonder of wonders, the individual who actually explained contract law to me was Mark lowercase k Kishon Christopher. You know, the guy that's doing 7+ years in a prison for attempted kidnapping. He actually explained contract law to me. So, thumbs up to Mark for that. And now I'm trying to explain it to Don John. Perhaps names hold power. Well, yes, the value, i.e. power, potency of a thing is what you ascribe to it. If you think a name holds power, then it holds power. Like I remember my tutor, Raven-Farhad-Tohidi, Alpha-Rin, once said to me, because I said, well, if you autograph something in pencil, does that hold the same weight as autographing it in wet ink? And he quite forcefully said to me, if I put my finger in dirt and autograph something, and I say that gives authorization, then that gives authorization. And boom, that was like a mind blown, you know, that was like a light bulb moment for me. It's all up to the author with the authority. Perhaps you will make the claim that since you have revealed to the world and to any prospective communicator your name with clarity, that your adhesion demand is actually leveling the field. It's actually not a demand, because demand means no mandate. It's a command. It means together with the mandate, if you choose. Subtle but very important difference. Is actually leveling the field, yet the name of the introduction is and has been your choice. Whether to and how to present it before your audience, so we are again back to your choice, dictating the entirety of that transaction. Exactly, Don John, exactly. My choice, my terms and conditions, my set rules dictate, direct the entirety of the transaction. You, on the other hand, have the power as to whether you contract with me or not. If you don't like what I'm dictating, what I'm commanding, you don't have to fucking email me. It's that simple, bro. Though I am not adverse to the fair exchange, I have grown non-tolerant and questioning of schism perceived. Perceived by whom? You? You're not tolerant of your schism perceiving? That sounds like a personal problem, bro. You either follow my terms and conditions or you don't. It's that simple. Because there's no way, either which way, that there's going to be a Rule 1 rule equal performance if the terms and conditions are not met. I hope you can see that. Now in the fiction, this works a little bit differently, but it's basically the same. It's basically the same. It's all contract. But thank you very much, Don John. I do appreciate your challenges that you present at times, your thoughts, the way you think about things. I know you're here and I don't think you have a volition to learn this grammar, but you do like to comment and offer some poignant thoughts. I appreciate that. So thank you. And I hope this helps, and I hope maybe someday you'll get the cojones to actually learn this stuff and contact me using your correct name and take some workshops. Damn it. The real e-record says, "Greeting, Jason. Question for you. Since David put the CSSC-PSG into trust, and it is for the people, are the people technically the beneficiaries?" Wow. Huge amount of issues with what is just said here. All right, first, false premise. Since David put the CSSC-PSG into trust. Did he? I've spoken with the man personally a year before his death, had several conversations with him. I attended several private webinars with him, bought the book from him personally, and I have never seen any evidence that he put CSSC-PSG into trust. So the rest of this is actually irrelevant when that light is shown upon it. Since David is the grantor and was, okay, see, none of this is relevant because the first part of it is a false premise. And then they say, "I'd like to hear your thoughts on this if you have any, and also any corrections that could be made regarding what I've just stated." And there you go. So then I say, first things first, do you have access to this trust you speak of? This is the first I've heard of it. Please share your source and evidence, and I'll be happy to share my thoughts. By the way, I don't know who this person is. I really don't. It turns out they are an individual that I've done a workshop with and have communicated with in the past, but at this stage in the communication, I did not know that. So then they say, yesterday I was reading the 780-page Quantum Language and Communication Syntax Claims book by David. Does this look like this is 780 pages? Just asking for a friend. Got it from his website. David doesn't have a website now. David's been gone from the internet since the summer solstice of 2018. Notice it states it is a trust. I am aware the specific parts where it says for this live life trustee, live life trust, etc. could be doctored into the document, but it does bring up quite a few times. It does bring it up quite a few times. I've been deep diving into trust and postal mechanics lately, specifically the 1864 Stamp Act and 1932 Trust Indenture Act, just trying to put it all together. Okay. So then I say, I've personally spoken with David during the final year of his life, as well as been teaching correct sentence structure since February of 2018. I've never heard of nor seen a 780-page book authored by David-WYNN Miller. Not did he ever mention it. Stop and correct, folks. That not is supposed to be a nor, N-O-R. Sorry. My bad. Also, his websites have been scrubbed, and the only websites that are available now attributed to him have been modified and changed by outside parties. Please share a link to the book that you are referring to. Thank you. And then they say, I emailed the information to you. Thanks. So, folks, this is the website that that individual was referring to, because they emailed me the link to it. And this is DavidWynnMillerBook.com. This has nothing to do with David-WYNN Miller. From my knowledge from a few years ago, I feel like this website is run by someone with the YouTube handle Serge or Sergey the Car Hauler. They had a YouTube channel. He's an alright guy. He seems like an alright guy. He's funny. He's friendly. Allegedly a Christian. I don't know. Whatever all that means to you. He doesn't seem to be a bad guy. But the last I checked, he was running this website because he offered to give it to me. He said that he couldn't run it anymore and he was looking for someone to sort of hand it off to, and he felt that I would be the one to do that because and to benefit from it, because he said people were just sending him $300, $300 for this book. And I guess he said he didn't really need the money, and he felt better if maybe it was going towards someone who actually knew the grammar, because he didn't know the grammar. So he thought to offer it to me, and I, of course, declined the offer because I would never in a million years charge $300 for David-WYNN Miller's book. As I've said many, many times in the past, I do not recommend David's book as a learning tool for correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, much less for a beginner that wants to learn this. I feel like it's great as an historical document, and for the experienced individual who has closure on the grammar, it can offer some ideas on how to format different documents. But other than that, for the grammar, no. So, look, this is a copy of the David-WYNN Miller card, which David gave me 2 business cards that I have. That's the front and back of it. $297. Oh, they have a printed out version. It's $200, which is what David charged for it. So that's not bad. That's not bad. A red fox stamp with your physical copy, $215. Ain't no way that's $215 now, because red fox stamps have went up, bro. Seriously. Let's see. We are more or less English teachers. Who are we? I'd really like to know who we are. Do they credential themselves? Jason Brian Zelmer. Is Jason Brian Zelmer a collective? I don't know, but let's see what it is. Let's see. Skimming through this. I'll leave a link to this in the description of the video so you can check it out for yourself. What are they talking about here, people? Do you see this? If anyone out there can give me a link to an etymology website or a dictionary where they can prove this, send it to me. Send it to me, because I have never been able to find this for myself. So if you have that, if you can certify that and prove it, please send it to me, jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com. Don John Swaggart, I give you permission to send me that info pertaining to grammar if you want to. Jason Brian Zelmer. All fives. Actually, the colon would represent 5, 6, and then Jason-Brian would be a 7, and then this full colon would represent 5, 6, and then Zelmer would be a 7. So this is a 5, 6, 7, and then another 5, 6, 7. So it's not all 5. So Jason Brian Zelmer, this test has concluded that you do not have closure on correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, but I hope you're making thousands of dollars off of David Wynn Miller's books. Posthumously. This says, for the Jason Brian of the Zelmer family. Where is the word family in this? Jason Brian, I think you have lost your whole ass mind, bro. Okay. We're done with Jason Brian Zelmer. By the way, I found out why that guy said that the book was 780 pages long. The reason is that whoever it was, Serge the car hauler or Jason Brian Zelmer, whoever it was, they took the 96 pages of the physical copy of the book and then added on the rest of the 780 pages. They added on from David's website, or a version of David's website. So they're charging you $300 and whatever it is dollars for the 96-page original David Wynn Miller hard copy book, along with pages from David Wynn Miller's website. Just so we're clear on that. So this individual says, is the book not written that way so that one learns for self? So I'm going to read the transcript of this reply here. I said, well, think of it this way. Can you name one person who has learned correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar from the David Wynn Miller book? Have you yourself learned it from the book? Just give me one name of one individual who claims to have learned correct sentence structure from that book. And if you can do that, then I have some oceanfront property in Arizona that I can give to you for cheap. So then the Real LE record says the book is 780 pages of incorrect correct sentence structure, and is basically what is being pushed by RJG. Now, as we have said, the book is not 780 pages. Definitely not. And that's the issue with people coming on to this stuff after David Wynn Miller has passed away, they just don't know the stuff that folks like me that have been here for a while, that they just don't know these things. And it's very difficult to actually find closure on that. So I do say the original David Wynn Miller physical book is 96 pages. And then they say that, in my opinion, is the most important thing to have if one wants to obtain full closure on considering. It is the record of the origin of correct sentence structure. So the RULE record is saying that, in their opinion, David Wynn Miller's book is the most important thing to have if one wants to obtain full closure, considering it's the record of the origin of correct sentence structure. A false premise, for sure, because, number one, it's not a record of the origin of correct sentence structure. As far as I know, no one knows what that is. And if you want to obtain closure on the grammar, that book, you're not going to find it. And again, I challenge you, anyone out there, if you can prove that you gained full closure on quantum grammar, correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar from David Wynn Miller's 96-page original book, bro. And then I give them a link to a video where I do an audit of the David Wynn Miller grammar book. And then they say, for me, logic and reasoning will always overrule pride and ego. I'm sure you could make me understand why my opinion is incorrect. And then I said, as I mentioned in my email reply to you, that book is a great historical document, but not very useful as a practical learning tool. The reasons for this may be found in many of my videos addressing the issue, including the one I shared above. By the way, opinions are neither correct or incorrect. They're just opinions. Facts require tangible certification. And then they say, just realize I didn't say one of the most important things which would have accurately reflected my opinion. So I guess they're saying that what they said inaccurately reflected their opinion. So that's just a lesson that, yeah, I do make mistakes from time to time. My bad. Everyone makes mistakes. That's why, if you're serious and in a serious venue, it's a very good idea to be serious and proofread what you're writing. Because if you're dealing with someone like me in this type of venue, it's very serious to me. Or I can get serious very quickly, because this grammar is sacred to me. And I'm saying what I mean. And as for Rule 1, Rule Equal goes, I naturally think that you are also saying what you mean. And accurately reflecting your opinion rather than inaccurately reflecting your opinion. But thank you for the comment and for contacting me outside of this. I appreciate it. And now we come to one of the old, I smell, again, I smell a little whiff of RJG here. Nobody's Business says, let's speak about the flag. Are you authorized to use the flag on your contracts? Are we rolling here? Can you catch the eye roll? Bro, I've done so many videos on what authorization means as it relates to the word author, authority, authorize. I've done so many videos about the flag. So, you know, I mean, if you're just too lazy or stupid to do your own research, then that's on you, bro. Suffice it to say, I have never had an issue in 9+ years of using correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, using the 1x1.9 Title IV grammar flag on my document, contract, postal vessel, court venues. I've never had an issue. I've been 100% successful. No matter who claims or alleges to own the flag or the copyrights, it's never affected me one way or the other. As a matter of fact, Again, I've been 100% successful with it. So, final comment comes from Pulcha, and they say, if pronoun precedes adverb, then shouldn't Rome be pronoun too? Sometimes pronouns precede adverbs. Sometimes verbs precede adverbs. Sometimes nothing precedes adverbs. So, just so we're clear on that. The beastly man of Rome heavily trod the dimly visible road. Is it because there is no 1 3 3 4 scenario, only 3 3 4? 3 3 3 4. So this is all incorrect. This is all incorrect. All of it. Especially when you get to of being syntaxed as an adjective. Of would never be syntaxed as an adjective in this context. And if you go and watch the video, which I can't remember what the name of it is, but it is a recent video that I published in the last couple months, a syntax video. I don't syntax of as a 3 in the video, so I'm not sure what Pulcher is doing here. So my coolie on it to this is, to answer your questions in order, number 1, no. Number 2, no, your syntax values are incorrect. Number 3, no, false premise. Yes, as I said, false premise. Now, here's an issue I'd like to address really quickly here. Folks, I have put over 1,300 free videos on this YouTube channel for you to study. Okay? They're free. Everything that I teach in the workshops is available for free here. But you just have to invest your now space in studying. Once in a while, I will get someone like this Pulcha individual who will try to just push and push and push to get me to basically do what I would normally do in a workshop in the comments field and then not be compensated for it. So I have to take time out of my day. I have to take now space continuum out of my day to give Kuliana to Pulcha. They get the value of me teaching them personally. What are they giving to me that is of equal value? Do you see what I'm saying, folks? There comes a point when someone is taking advantage of you, and I start to feel that evening of the geometric level playing field. And I'm just not going to put up with something like that, not at this point in my life anyways, where I'm sort of on the way out of doing workshops anyways. I'm doing less and less now. I have other things to be concerned with in my life, and correct sentence structure has, at where it was once the most important thing focus wise, it's not now. At this point in my life, correct sentence structure is no longer one of the main focuses. So therefore, I'm not doing as many workshops as I used to. I'm sort of phasing that out. I'm doing videos every once in a while because I enjoy doing them. So I value my now space a lot more than I used to. So I will not be publishing comments from Pulcha if they have to do with things like this. Because for me, it's someone basically wanting something for nothing repeatedly. And that's the way I look at it. I could be wrong. But from 9+ years of YouTube experience, I feel like I'm pretty much on the mark. Someone that says, oh, yeah, I'm going to take workshops. Oh, yeah, I'm serious. And I never do, but yet they keep commenting. So there you go. And by the way, Pulcha, one last lesson for you. Do you know the 5 syntax scenarios? That's a rhetorical question because you don't know them. Because if you did, you would know that this right here, 1 3 3 4, you would know that that is a syntax scenario. Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I do hope to continue making videos on this channel. I know that I haven't really been keeping up with the same volume of work as I usually do. But as I said earlier, you know, this part of my life is being gradually phased out. But this channel will always be here for you. Rest assured. And if you are 100% serious about learning this grammar, and you are 100% in a position to perform the Rule 1 Rule Equal maintenance for taking workshops, email me, jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com, and I will make sure that I make time, I make now space for you. But if you're just a dilettante and you're not serious about it, if you are honorable and graceful, don't contact me. It'd be best for both of us. But anyways, thank you, and que sera, sera.